My name's Elizabeth Triplett, and I'm a student at Midway College, here to report on The Kite Runner, a book by Khalid Hosseini, written in 2003. It was a best-selling novel, stayed at the top of the charts for just months and months, and is truly an extraordinary book. We are going to discuss the adaptation process as it relates to specifically one of the main characters, Baba, the father of Amir. And this is truly a book about fathers and sons. We are going to review the book, review adaptation, review crisis, look at some theories, look at nursing process, look at Roy, and wrap this all up to see how it all relates to the father. And I'm going to start by saying that this Afghanistan, where the book starts in the early 1970s, is a country that's been at war for 40 years, and it continues to this day. But the book starts prior to that war, just prior to that, when it was peaceful and a democracy. And we see the lead character, one of the lead characters, Baba, who was a big man in Afghanistan, in the city of Kabul. He was a wealthy merchant, he was a philanthropist, he was just larger than life, and everyone knew him and respected him. We see the war come and progressively get worse. Kabul is reduced to rubble, it's frightening, and he takes his son Amir and flees. And it's during that difficult transit from Kabul in the early 80s to being smuggled out to Pakistan, and ultimately transitioning to Fremont, California, that we see the change in this character. The crises challenge him in his responses. He softens, he becomes a better parent, and ultimately gets to America and has poor adaptation processes and becomes just a shell of a man. Sister Callista Roy is the leader in discussion of adaptation, and I've discussed this in my paper and would encourage you to take a look at that for more information. But she talked about three types of stimuli, and one that I thought was very poignant in this book was the focal stimuli, and those are the needs that confront a person in a given situation. And we certainly see this when they are going over the Khyber Pass in a smuggler's truck. It's actually an empty fuel tanker truck. They're in the tank part with numerous people crowded. It's pitch dark and the air's foul. Amir, the son, is just about to have a fit when we hear Hosseini tell, quote, "And then a small miracle. Baba tugged at my sleeve and something glowed green in the dark. Light, Baba's wristwatch. I kept my eyes glued to those fluorescent green hands. Think of something good, Baba said in my ear, something happy," end quote. And it's in this moment that we see the change beginning, when Baba steps into the role of the father and starts taking care of his son. And throughout this period of adaptation, as Baba becomes softer, Amir becomes stronger, and their relationship just blossoms. There are many theories and concepts that strike me as having a lot of application in this book. Bronfenner's 1995 ecosystems theory, Haley 1973 his systems theory, and Lorenz 1993 crisis theory. And again, those are discussed in the paper. But think of crisis theory and think of this book. Boy, that's a good match, isn't it? With regard to assessment of characters, we've been pretty much discussing that the whole way through. Baba moved from being on top of the world to in just a very challenging position where he had to seek out new and different roles to accommodate these horrible situations. And in the end, when he arrived in America and did not adapt, did not change, he became such a small man, such a reduced man. But one who, throughout that experience, would occasionally rise to his former strengths and do something wonderful. Uh, Support systems are so important to Afghanistan people. They are mostly patriarchal and extended family and maybe close community, and we see the loss of all of that when they are fleeing and get to California. Culture, age, and gender. Well, it's a very masculine book. There's just passing reference to females. But there is some good nursing research from the University of Alberta in Canada, from nursing researchers there, that talks about children of war and the characteristics that help them best adapt. And it's basically resilience of spirit. And if you've got that, you're probably going to be okay. In specifically talking about some nursing things, we remember Lipson from the textbook, who talked about mental health nursing and the importance of that to refugees. These are people who've had traumatic experiences in their country of origin, difficult camp and transit experiences, and they've lost everything. They've lost their country, they've lost their family, multiple losses, and it can be very pressing on a person. And again, assessment is the key, a good use of the nursing process, and Sister Callista Roy references that in her theory. She says that the goal of nursing is to, quote, promote adaptation by the use of the nursing process, thus contributing to health, quality of life, and dignity of dying. She was sure a smart woman. The Kite Runner, gosh, it's one of the best books I've ever read, and I've read it many times. I come at it from different places in my life and always come away with something different than before. This time, by focusing on Baba and his development in the reading, I gained incredible insight into the difficult process of adaptation, the painful things that get left behind, and the triumph of human spirit when you can remain true to yourself. He was an imperfect man who rose to a lot of challenges in a highly dysfunctional series of crises through extraordinary adaptation, and that's worth noting. Thank you.